like it's too much to deal with at first until you get into that groove and everyone else is working late too, and then it switches from grind to camaraderie, to where when it all starts coming together, when the demo really starts looking good, to me it justifies any of the trouble that came before that.
There's a wonderful little video moment that the videographers captured, which really tells the tale for me. We had the couch set up right in the middle of the design area. By design area, I mean the team area, actually, not literally the game design area. In the middle of the team area with a projection screen, and Tim Lamb, who at that point was in QA, was running the demo over and over and over, looking for bugs, looking for polish, verifying he could run it 10 times in a row without it crashing, things like that. And so the videographers put a camera way up high in the ceiling, pointed down at him, and they ran an entire day. And in the entire day, Tim never moved, just his thumbs. And people are racing around back and forth in that sort of quick time motion, and they encapsulated it down to about a 60-second thing. He's just sitting there constantly playing the game, and there's all this frantic activity going on around him. And that's kind of how it was, too. There was this incredible focus on the demo, but at the same time, if you weren't intimately involved in it, there was all kinds of other stuff that still had to be done. And sometimes those dual needs collided, and sometimes they meshed well.
The demo is also the beginning of the crunch. You know, we started crunching for the demo, working long hours, and then it just never went away. We kept going, and it kept going until we finished the game like a year later. So that was pretty rough.
I mean, I think there was a lot of things that we learned from that. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we've gotten better at it, and we didn't have anything like that in Fallout, and I don't think, you know, Todd has basically said that we're never doing that kind of a crunch again, and the whole point is to plan better. Now, there's a lot of things about that project that, you know, contributed, like we were going on a brand new platform that the specs were, changing right up until sort of the last minute as far as we were concerned, which is, I guess, one of the main reasons why we were not a launch title, because I think that original date was to come out as a launch title.
The 360 launch was insane because essentially up until the last few months of the project, the 360 was basically a massive, like it was just a box. We didn't get final hardware till very, very late in the process. So I think we tried compiling it a couple of times and went, yeah, the game's not going to run on this thing, so we need to. We had a happy hour when they decided to double the RAM, and that was a big help. The game, Oblivion is such a memory hog that the game is basically constantly running on that edge. So it pushes the hardware pretty far, and the fact that we were able to move it, it was delayed to the spring, basically allowed us to essentially finish the game.
When I start getting worried about the amount of work left to do, or the things that I see that still need to be changed or fixed in some way to really make it feel final, I always try to think back. I try to think back to, how did I feel at this time during Fallout 3, this far out from ship? And then how did I feel at this time on Oblivion? And I can't remember it. I don't think I remember it clearly anyway, because I always think, I was less concerned, or it felt less panicky, and that can't be true, because at the time you have nothing else to compare it to, so everything feels panicked and rushed, and in the sense of, like, if I don't do this now, there won't be time to fix it, and then we're going to ship the game, and I won't be able to stand listening to it, because all I'll hear are the mistakes that I should have made, and why didn't I fix them when I had the time to fix them? It would have taken me 5 minutes. So I gotta think it's kind of the same. I think we're better off schedule-wise. We have much more time right now, even with the work there is to do, to keep playing the game and change all the things that are annoying, and have enough time to play it long enough to where you can get a real feel for, if you play this in the first 5 hours, everything's fine. If you play it for 15 hours, this balance is off right here. If I play it for 30 hours, I can't stand hearing this sound one more time. I need more variations in there, or I need to change it up. So having all that time to do more playthroughs, more iterations is going to be just critical. And I don't know, we've got to be better off than we were before, even if the game is as much bigger as it is and more complex than it is.
Having worked at a different studio, a couple different studios, and like the people who work Bethesda who haven't worked other places, I don't think they realize how well managed we are and how well we've worked out the process of making games. Because in a lot of places it's not, it's really your seat of the pants trying to figure it all out, and I think we have it nailed down pretty well now.
I actually think we're very, Skyrim is probably the smoothest running project I've ever been involved in here. So that's been good. It seems like we finally caught our processes up to the size of the team and the size of the game that we're making. And also we have windows now.
For the people who aren't familiar with our studio, we for the longest time were in the basement of the building. And that has its own vibe, you know what I mean? It's very dark and it's very, you become more withdrawn, I think, and it's like you're in your little cube, and some people put even bookshelves up and curtains, and they're blocking themselves in this little pit of darkness,
I mean, to me, at least, it's a pretty big deal that we're not in a dark basement. We were there for, I don't know how many years. It was long enough.
Does that make some of your quest lines a little less dark?
I don't think so. I don't know if I've noticed that, but it's more fun to work, and especially in long hours. In the old days, you would come out and you'd go in, and it was dark, and you'd come out, and it was dark, and you're like, I wonder what the day was like.
I will say that near the end, it was pretty exciting because to wrap up all the masters and the builds and getting it all done, and I remember the final weeks. That was one of the first, it felt really good when that game finally wrapped up, and I just remember, kind of standing at my desk and getting the reports and just kind of, telling everybody, okay, we're done. I'm extremely lucky because I am literally the first one who finds out that we're done. So, I mean, even before Todd Howard knows, I know. And so I get to go and tell him, hey, we're done. And so that's pretty exciting. And Oblivion, for me, that was the first project I had basically worked on from beginning to end. And so that I was especially proud of that one. I will say finishing games are awesome, and it's especially awesome for me because we only do it once every 4 years. So I'm literally counting these are the number of games I'll be able to do before I die. So when we finish a game, it's a really big special occasion. So the best part is when the game started becoming playable, you can get into the game and play it, and people would just play it nonstop. It was it was pretty exciting being able to see just how beautiful the game was, all the quests come together, a lot of the wacky AI scripting came together near the end, and that was pretty cool to be able to see some of that work. Even after the game came out, I would go home and play it, and you would see everyone that's in the studio was everyone's playing Oblivion because it's huge and it was fun, and we definitely made a game that we ourselves would have wanted to play, and it was pretty awesome.
I don't think I ever played it at home. I think my copies, any copies we got after shipping, I think I gave them away to friends and stuff like that. And I really didn't play Fallout either. It's hard for me to do it. I think if I waited 6 months to a year and then played it, I could kind of divorce myself from knowing how you've already seen the sausage being made. Now I don't want the sausage anymore. So that's kind of a good description of it for me.
I played the game 300 hours maybe just in the course of developing it. I didn't want to see it again after a while. I was able to come back to it after it sat for a bit, but I couldn't play it anymore. I just couldn't play it because I had spent 300 hours. So there was nothing fresh. There was nothing new. Not only did I know every little corner of the game, I knew how it had gotten to be that little corner of the game because I saw it broken, fixed, changed, altered, improved, done. And I played it through all those stages. So by the time it was done, it's like, and do what? What am I going to get from it? There's nothing left. Then we moved on to Shivering Isles. By the time that was done, some of that had worn off, and I've actually gone back and played it just for the enjoyment of it. But it took a while. It took a while to get to that point.
However, if any time I know there was a time in Oblivion I needed to jump in and create a new character and play it for some reason. Maybe I think it might have been because we were working on DLC or something. And you can't help but get sucked back into it again. So you say to yourself, I'm just going to go play for 5 minutes. Okay, I need to create this character and jump into the game and go test this one thing. And once you do it, you have limitless possibilities in every direction that you look. And I do it now. I'll go into the game to test one little thing to make sure this sound got hooked up correctly. And 20, 30 minutes just gets wasted. Not wasted because I'm enjoying it, but wasted in terms of work time. It's like, okay, that sound worked, everything's fine. Let me just go wander over here a moment. And then you just get, well, let me follow this path. I'll just go clear out this one dungeon. And it happens, you're on the same track as the fans are on when they play the game. And that's the same reason people play it for 150, 200 hours. Because you're given every choice in the world. Wander in any direction, go do whatever you want. So you can't help but pick up that thread and then just follow it and see where it goes.
You know,